Yeah, I hope this video goes long enough. Did anybody watch the haul that I just did? It was pretty long and I left some interesting information down there. So you gotta watch all the way through. Like, I know one of you people who don't watch all the way through and you don't get anything because you are a liar. I don't really have any forks, but I'm diving in. Oh yeah, that's good, good, good. Watermelon, y'all. So how's everybody doing today? I feel like we're all eating at the dinner table together. I forgot to get a fork. Look at that baby. Oh my god. And tell me, do y'all think this is a really fun buy? I just really feel like it's super fun. Like, I just don't feel like you would see this in a lot of stores. Mac and cheese. Totally look like a fish. And a legitimate fish too. Like, when I watched Shay Carl's, or the Shay Tards is, what is it called? I don't even know. Hawaii video. The video where they're in Hawaii. I think they did that video in 2014. So there you go. Mac and cheesy. Fun and fish shaped ravioli filled with a burst of mac and cheese flavor. I thought it would be fun. I would give it a whirl. I also might give it to my niece and nephew. We'll see. I almost got something for them in the last video. Last video. I did three videos today. Three videos. That's what happens when I'm hungry. Okay, I just look a little off like that. I might break some of this out. Y'all want to see me open it? It's just Black Forest ham. It's like a kind of a skinny slice. Small slice. I just got it because it was on sale. Like, oh, whatever. That seems like an interesting buy. Ouch. How is everybody doing? I really want to heat these up in like the microwave or something and eat them up. They look so good. I almost want to bust into them now, but y'all want me to try one? Let's see. And to be honest with you, I really feel compelled to try one because they were actually opening up in the grocery store. As I was checking out and putting everything on the self-checkout, they were already kind of opening up and stuff. Let's see. How does it go? being disrespectful. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Ooh, it smells good. If you watch the last video, this one is the one with the lesser of the sauce. I'm not heated up at all. I might go get a fork for y'all. You want me to do that? Those are good. Definitely worth it. It tastes really good. It's kind of cold a little bit. I'm gonna throw this away. We'll be back, okay, y'all? I'm gonna go get a fork. We'll be back. We'll be back. Hold the horses there, Holy Spirit. And we're back. Let me know in the comments if anybody would like to see like just a tour of, because I know people on Google like to see that for sure. Yeah, so got me a fork like I was talking about. Love ya. You know why I say that? And I honestly already did a channel trailer, and Pretty Unflawed was so sweet, and I really agree with what she said, because she was like, you don't have to give us anything, and I was like, oh, I don't. No. Nice fork. I swear they used to look longer to me, but I'm just hungry. Really, really yummy. Really, really yummy. I wish it was heated. Would have been nicer. Only $3.51. Wow. Yum, yum, yum. That's super good. I'm busting this open too. Y'all see that? Yummy. That's what it is. Calamala Adam. I already showed him in my haul video. We'd like to see that and the more extended version of what I'm eating. We may go down there and seek out, watch what I'm eating and stuff like that. So. good. Oh my god. You know, I would just like to mention that Chris Gouger, Stephen Brown need to stop stalking me. Carrie, Christian Brown, Carrie Damon Brown, we just knock it off too. I don't think you guys need to be following around some girl who doesn't have nothing to do with you. Sorry, Stephen Brown, but being Riley Goff is not a good idea. I do not need to be some Emma Walker anymore. Why does Riley Goff look like Bryce Walker anyways? Bryce Walker being the fool in my house. I had to believe people in Canby, Oregon, and the people that have worked with my mom at night school for years. No. The crazy, bizarre things that she's done and made no sense of. The Kalamata olives with the meat balm, really yummy. And I have to say, how much does this cost for? Costs about $3.87 for this whole thing. It's a lot. If you want to see, let's see. That's, whoop, see, that's why I hesitate. Did y'all see the liquid? There's just a lot in here. You can see. I think I showed it in the other video. Man, I want to make a mess. I don't like to make a mess for cuts with their plate because I don't want them to have to like pick up after me and all stuff like that. Yum. This is really nice. Yum, yum, yum. Really delicious. My bananas. I might save them for home because I like to eat a banana right before bed. Just to kind of calm my mind down and get myself ready for the day. I kind of like to do that with milk. Milk and a banana. For breakfast too, actually. Really delicious. Good job, Whole Foods. I have to say something. It's just interesting because I hear all this talk about evil being on the news and evil being on the television and stuff like this. Honestly, before 2016, I really didn't hear those things. It's true. Like my mom, before 2016, she was actually watching CNN for a while there. And to be honest with you, I didn't hear any evil, so I'm I do believe that a lot of you people who are making decisions that cost you your relationship with Yeshua, like, be careful because, like, you know, and to be honest with you, my personality, the way I am, I can't fast and pray. Like, it screws up everything. Like, in order to get what I need in life, the Spirit gives us what we need, not what we want. Like, get your computer for bringing that to light, because I think a lot of people need to know that, like, God's not just gonna, like, just give you something. You have to go after what you believe in. And right before 2016, I was dealing with, like, I was just trying to make ends meet and trying to make things happen. Just a lot of different things were going down. I look back and it's just kind of foggy. I don't remember that year very much. And I don't think that a lot of happy things have happened in that year, to be honest with you. No shade to, and not no shade, but just no, like, no disrespect to anyone in that year, but, you can't just disrespect people like that, I was really just raised, and I swear, since before I was born, people were praying for me to be born. Like, I guarantee you, Catherine Coleman knew about me, and she knew about me and stuff like that. I have that innate feeling, like, it's like, no, and, all positivity to her. She's amazing. I actually really do look up to her. And she's one of 3 Catherines that I look up to. Yeah. Yeah. I believe 2016 was a really hard year because actually the Holy Spirit redirected me a little bit ago, like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and reminding me that actually your firstborn child was born in 1996 and 1916. 1996. And my firstborn was born, my Robert Kardashian, so to speak. He was born in 1996, 2 years after I was born. So, with that being said, my Billy Graham, in 2016, being that was the hardest year for me, I think the Holy Spirit was like, well, if it was hard, it was probably because that's your kid, like, so I'm wondering if right and wrong isn't, I'm wondering if he isn't just, like, my only kid. It's just interesting, like, my whole life being born into this male-dominated family, the Barones. Sounds like a really fun day for people. Really hustling and bustling in there. You know, when I went to Whole Foods, I mean, it's a Friday today. It's a Friday right before St. Patrick's Day, which is super exciting for people. I'm hoping I have enough snacks for my whole block. I feel like kids may or may not want to come. I'm kind of scared of that, but you know, no shade to the kids. I mean, they can do whatever they feel like they need. So yeah. Bless those little babies' hearts. This food is great, you guys. If you want to, we will all eat together. In the Whole Foods walk with me video, walk like tour with me, because honestly, no shade, real quick, real say, that Whole Foods was the quickest Whole Foods that the first Whole Foods I have seen in a while. And that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was that Whole Foods was the first one that what am I saying? That was my first time seeing that Whole Foods. So like I was like hyperventilating. I don't know if anybody watched the video of me touring the whole place. I will definitely put that up first in the haul of this whole video. But yeah, tell me what y'all's doing. These meatballs, I do not regret opening these thus far. I think in the morning for breakfast, or maybe even for dinner, probably in the morning for breakfast, I definitely eat one of my little snack packs over here. If you want to see one of my snack packs, go watch the haul video that I just did of this food. It was really interesting to see there were two of these kinds, like this one, and then there was another one, the one I'm eating. And the one I'm eating, there really isn't like any much flavor to it, I guess. This turkey barbecue cocktail balls, they're really, really good. And they're not even like a ball, they're more like a coney kind of shape, like a football. Yeah, like a super fat football. Good go. I almost wonder if I should go get some ketchup or something over there. My girlfriend in Charbonneau, she's so beautiful. I don't know where that woman is. She inspired me so much to just get life, like just do life, like it was beautiful. But she used to call the dipping sauce ketchup. She was beautiful, real beautiful lady. And she reminded me a lot of Cindy Jacob. Yeah, really beautiful lady. I'm gonna bust up in these blueberries. I call them a name. I want to try them. Do I want to try one? You can have one. Heavenly Father, you give him one over the screen, okay? It's funny I'm saying that because a couple months ago, my mom, or I had like a salad from here, or my mom or something, had brought me a salad, and I've kind of been stubborn to eat over the years because I don't want to cover up my need for my husband, and I think I've been like that since 2016, and I think I was just getting to know Donald Trump, and I was just being very stubborn, needless to say. I just wasn't eating, and I wasn't taking care of myself like I should have, and I wasn't being healthy. And ever since last year, I made that video in August. I feel like I've been crawling back to home base. So it's kind of been kind of sad because I feel like my situation is different than a lot of girls. A lot of girls just aren't like me. I mean, it's not a bad thing. My dad actually has praised me a lot for the woman that I am today, and I don't give men the satisfaction of me. I'm very different than a lot of girls, and I don't need to lay down for a man just to like pretend like I'm being somebody, you know? So I don't like the disrespect from the devil that I've been getting. I might leave the video down below of Angel's beautiful mom, and her mom was giving her story, and she said, I can relate to this so strong. Miss Angel's mom, I forget her name, Miss Moore, I think her name is, Astor Moore, and she was saying her mom said she went from her grandma and her grandpa's house to her mom's house, and that sounds just like me. Like, I felt like once I came up here for to live, once I came up here for freshman year, it was like my adult life was handed to me, and I wasn't ready for it, and I was hugely disrespected, and I mean, I guess in a sense, I wasn't exactly taken advantage of, like Angel's mom. I mean, I don't know if she was particularly taken advantage of, but she just said as soon as she moved up to her mom, she noticed that rules were just not something that her mom was upholding. Her mom just didn't seem to care about rules. Which is interesting because she was living with like her grandparents, and I think they call them Mullah, and I feel like so, like, I kind of feel bad because I'm like giving her story away, but she does it so much better, and she does it so gracefully and dignified, and so they really do. She does it way better. But her mom said that you know, there was a lot of strict rules, you know, having to hide stuff that I needed, like out in like the vineyards and stuff like that, like out in the fields. just so they can have stuff because, like, back then, I guess, it's just not like, you just can't have anything. I'm like, what in the heck? Like, yeah, you can have stuff, you know? So, there was that. Yeah, and she said, you know, like I said, it was very strict for her. And she was writing her mom like letters, and she would write her mom letter. I think she finally was like, you know, I don't like this. Like writing her mom like I did in what I did in Blythe was I would call my mom like at an appointed time. And I will say, I remember sometimes not remembering to call my mom, and it just became very interesting because my parents, both of my parents, did not be cordial like Ivana Trump and Donald Trump. They just were not cordial. They weren't smart. They weren't respectful from their mouth. They weren't hold their tongue. And it's more than just that. They were not shalom. They did not do that. They bashed each other in front of our faces. Like, literally, I would be sitting next to my mom in the car, and she would just be like, that, you know, F word, that, you know, bad word, that curse word, in front of me and stuff like that. And I was like, I just don't know how to get out of here. I don't know what God's plan is for me. Like, you know, I probably am supposed to marry someone. Where is he? So, but I do have to give my dad props because when my mom wasn't around, I would be doing like chores and house duties and stuff. He would give me positive affirmations. So I remember doing the vacuuming. I was vacuuming once. And this old school vacuum. It's from Rainbow. If anybody remembers Rainbow appliances, oh my god. I remember I was vacuuming once in my dad's house. I remember exactly where it was. I don't particularly know if it was in the family room because the family room was in the back of the house. Kind of like the shade ours a little bit. A little bit. It was just so interesting because my mom just always said he was just a bad person, and I never really understood why. Because if my dad was a bad person after so many of these years, then how come she never brought up God that was in between everything? How come she couldn't say, you know what, God, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to stop believing that Antonio's a bad person. I'm going to stop believing that Anthony is a bad person because was Antonia sees things that we don't, and maybe we need to trust in whatever she's seeing. And what I was seeing was the Spirit of God. I didn't see things like every other kid. You know, I don't see the devil and I accept the devil. Just because you see him so clearly does not mean you have to accept him. It's just really crazy because I don't think that my parents really acknowledge the Lord at all. And I think that speaks really sadly because my dad and my mom really could have really lived a really happy life together because honestly, my Prada Tanata Tia Martha is literally my mom. Like, if you watch the movie Prada Tanata, and last summer, I believe it was like early September, if not late August, last summer, I watched the movie Prada Tanata, and it was actually free with ads, so that's how I was able to watch it, and it really opened my eyes up to my whole entire family, and it really helped me see that, you know, who people really are and where these people really come from, and why the connection between Teresa Gallagher being the, like, kind of the watered down, like the to dry. She wears like a lot of neutral colors. I think that they're trying to say that the Mexican girl in that video, if you know what I mean, she's basically like a Lara Leah of Trump. Like, she looks like they're working together, and they're both really, really working together. But I also know who that guy is that she ends up like marrying and living in the house and stuff like that. So it kind of looks like the same situation, but like this is just a lot of different information. Yeah, I don't know what that kid's problem is with me, but I will tell you it's very interesting because I don't particularly feel like the girl in what's it called in it's not the girl that looks white, just completely white. That's a very interesting movie, and it really makes me question my family members, because I think if they were honest with themselves about who they really are, they would not have anybody questioning their authority, you know? So I'll link that video down below the best I can. I've been really interested in trying to keep a lot of stuff in the description box for you people, so stay on your brain. Going back to Whole Foods earlier, their seating area in this really cute area where it was like what was it like? It was like a beer station, and then what was the other word, Lord? It was beer. Was it breakfast and beer or something like that, or burgers and beer or something like that? It was so cute and so perfect and so right. I was like, oh my gosh, this place is so cute. That whole Foods was awesome. I'm gonna definitely have to make another trip back over there. It was cool. It was cool. The Canby bus though only runs the Canby bus only runs, something like that. Yeah, I know that the Mexican looking girl, my Tia Martha looking girl in Prada Tonada is my mother, right? Because at the end, almost towards the end of the movie, she stops, the Eric Trump looking guy, and she tells him, well, I only rely on work because it's the only thing that I can count on all this horrible garbage. So there you go. Ouch! It's like a cactus. Ow! I mentioned off camera that these meatballs are really good. I almost feel like they weren't meatballs. They were like, I don't know. It definitely wasn't a bowl. It definitely wasn't a bowl. They were really good. Really good. I would recommend people buy them. People were over there on that side trying to buy other stuff too. And yes, if you have a food EBT food card, you can buy the stuff that's already packaged like this. You just can't buy like the stuff that's like on the other side. And honestly, I recommend people do because it makes me feel better. I'm like, do I really have to go to like this section and go buy more stuff like that? Like, not to say that I don't like this stuff, because I do, but I just, my brain just feels better when I just go after things that I feel like I need, not want. So I'm really tempted to eat the other meat bowls. I think I'll do that and take the salumi home. Take all of those. I got all 4 packs. Can you believe that? I suspect that there was more than just 4. So I'm definitely going back there, you guys. I would recommend everybody go to Whole Foods. There was a lot of stuff there that I was super excited about. I think I'm gonna eat this one. Just told to do that by spirit. And yes, Clary's fluid is my spiritual grandma. In case anybody's wondering. Y'all can see all the way up there, can't you? All the way up there. What the heck? It's too crazy. Ooh, this one smells so delicious. You smell that? Smell that. Y'all smell a vision. Smell a vision. Smell of vision is just gonna have to be something spiritual for now. I'm like, people are always talking about, when are they gonna invent smell of vision? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. This sauce is so good. Y'all, it's all gone. I'm about to bust open this whole milk right here. Oh, that's good. Good. That's great. Y'all gotta get you some of this. Alpenrose whole milk. I hear the whole milk is really good for you compared to other stuff. My fork. You guys, Kino's right here. I wonder if anybody plays that over here. No. Second chance. You have a second chance to win on every scratch it. I don't know. We're doing good on time, y'all. I'm just a hungry mama. I'm gonna give me what I want. meatballs. Oh my god. You know, you dance when you eat something good. You just want to dance. Very good. And I will have to say, this watermelon doesn't taste like. And I did go there about midday, like about 1 o'clock. Like 1 o'clock, maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. And this watermelon does not taste like. It doesn't taste like it has like age at all. And I wonder if when I got there, it didn't exactly give me the freshest one. So. Yeah. These meatballs, the sauce is spice. It's hot, hot, hot. I think it said that it was like a sweet cranberry-ish kind of flavor. I don't know what else to do. Blueberries. These ones are the spicier ones, huh? Or they're the ones with the more spice. The other ones were just like, they said that they were barbecue, but not a fan. Oh, not a fan. I think cooking over the years has been, like, since I was a kid, has been definitely revamped. Like, I remember growing up just seeing, like, barbecue. Now they have, like, barbecue everything. Like, different kinds of barbecue. Like, honey barbecue. Or spicy barbecue. You know, it's like, there's different kinds of flavors nowadays because people are really getting interested in the different flavors and tastes and all yummy stuff. You know, I just have to thank my husband, Don, for keeping me in line and in check because I feel like a lot of the times, like, I'll just be like, I don't want to do anything, like, What am I trying to say? There's just been a lot of times in recent past when I just don't feel like doing anything because I don't see my husband. Like, I don't see you, Dawn. Like, like, can you just come over here? Like, I just don't. I don't see you like next to me. Like, I'm like, where are you? Stuff like that. That's crazy. Body roll. There's a television right here. Can you imagine if it's that right there? Oh my god. I'm so hungry. I just have to thank my husband for strengthening me up, and even though you haven't been around me doing it like you're supposed to, because God has what I'm supposed to do. I feel like spiritually you are kicking me out of bed and giving me a purpose in life, because I probably would be in heaven breastfeeding children by now, but your behind had to keep me over here, boy. I do believe I was a wet nurse back in another life. If not that, I have like a relative or something. My great grandfather probably allowed that. I can see that. Grandpa Barone, great Grandpa Barone. I wish y'all could see my little setup right here. There's watermelon, red watermelon right here. Like right here. To the right of this camera. So if I turn like this, that's the right. If I go like this. Well, right in front of you right here. There's blueberries right here. And then right here from you. There is, I'll show you guys the playing field here. Right here. That's all we got happening right there. Right there. Get them up. Oh my gosh. Dawn, please get over here. I don't know what is happening? I would like you to please buy me better YouTube equipment, please. We can really produce these videos. There, now you can see me again. Alright, oh, here you go. I like this. Party. The party. So, like I said, I have watermelon, blueberries. Watermelon right here, blueberries. Calamala olives right here. These yummy, yummy things that I just showed on camera. It's super, super yummy. And then I have my, like, hot, spicy buffalo. Not buffalo. Angel's mom's story is really interesting to me. Like I said, you know, about over 10 minutes ago, over 15 minutes ago, I mentioned her mom's story, and I can really relate because it's just kind of seemed like my mom was lying, because she was just kind of treating me like I'm so hungry. She was just kind of treating me like Rowena from Bryce's Choice, and I was like, I don't know what to do. You know, I particularly honestly didn't really know what business move to do. Like, I just went to my mom because I believe a lot of divorcees and a lot of divorce situations, children just end up with the mom because that bond in that relationship, you know, it's very strong and very very tight knit. It shouldn't be something that just gets easily broken, stuff like that. So, but I don't know. It's just been, you know, really difficult because at this point, and I feel like I've been living every day the same. Like, it's like in my book series, like in my like Twilight book series, like Twilight Saga. Like, when does the first book of me end? Like, so my life just has not been what I pictured. Thank you, Gal Gadot, for being the stand-in for me in that, because I never met somebody willing to play me before. She definitely has like that puppy dog face going on with me. But I am considering leaving Oregon. I honestly am trying to get more brave and courageous at my church, because I've been Kelly Clarkson my whole life. Like, my whole family just it's just really confusing. Like, really confusing. My parents divorced when I was 2, and then they separated. My parents divorced when I was 2, and what am I trying to finish saying? My parents divorced when I was 2. My mom moved up here when I was 4 because Micah Johnathan's dad just kind of moved us up here. He kind of conned us into moving up here. My mom could have been the mom in Perfect Man with Hilary Duff and that guy who played Big in Sex and the City. So this video is getting really long. I'm gonna go watch Angel's mom's story because it really inspires me, and I haven't laid down and like had any kids of my own. I just have always believed that that's something that should happen between me And now that I know what his name is, me and Don Jr. Trump and whatever God has had him planned for me is wherever he's had him planned. So you know, this too shall pass, and I'm gonna get off of here because this is super long, but I hope people have enjoyed watching my video. Yeah, it is. It's been really frustrating, and I do feel a lot like Angel Tanks' mom. There's just a lot of responsibility that's been put on me, and it's kind of ridiculous because I come up here and all of a sudden I find out this brother who is not smart like Micah Talby and Jonathan Barras or Jonathan Talby. I'm not really sure about my Kevin Jonas brother, but it's, you know, it's just interesting, and it's just interesting how he just seems like Nick Jonas and just is kind of like playing around with his cards, and he just doesn't seem to know how to play his cards right. I mean, Micah and Jonathan, like this is the reverse Three Little Pigs. Micah and Jonathan have their own secure houses. Micah worked his tail off for 16 years. I remember when I was super young, and this was probably right after we had moved in the house with Micah, and I can't particularly remember which house we were in. I think it was like the blue house, because I can't quite remember what happened after that house. What I can remember is when we first moved up here, we moved in apartments on Territorial, and then my mom moved us into this 3-story house, and I remember Steve, and there was just like problems on that block, and like they just weren't getting along and all this crazy stuff. And then I will say I remember life really started getting happier and getting more jumped up, and things really started to take off at the house with Micah. And I swear when I look at that house in my mind, and I actually went back to it probably about a year ago maybe, and I went back to it and I was like, wow, this house looks so much more smaller than what it used to. And so from then I just remember like life really started to take off, and I really felt like things were starting to connect and everything was starting to make sense. And I wonder if it was just because Micah was there, and he's like President Trump, like signing deals for Israel kind of thing. So I think so. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think we moved out of the house with Micah, and then I think we moved into where we met Lori Wolfinch. I don't think she's too afraid of me mentioning her name. Now this video is like way in depth, so I don't think anyone's gonna find an hour and 4 minutes. But and we moved into the house. It was actually a really beautiful house. The master bedroom was nice and big. My bedroom was fairly big. It's like a good square size of a room. We had like a jacuzzi in the backyard, and I remember Isaac's room was like it was actually really interesting. Really like rectangle, and it was I considered it big. We'll say that. And things really started to kind of look a little different. I remember that year there was like a huge freeze. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. And it was like in May, you guys. Like it was like in May, like kind of like early to mid-May, like May 12th or something like that. And so my mom got the day off from work, and it was just really funny because I remember my older brother, blood brother, Isaac. And I actually, now that I remember, I actually shared a bedroom wall with him, now that I remember. So that was kind of interesting. And yeah, this was the house. Yeah, so this was the house after the house that we lived with Micah. And like I said, like things really started to take off. Like I learned, and I not just learned, because I believe that I had already known how to ride a two-wheel bike, but I really started to practice, and I really physically, because you can know spiritually, but you just have to like prove it physically. And so physically, I remember I learned how to ride a two-wheel bike on that block. They ended up taking my training wheels off, and this was like, I think it was like 7 and 8 in that house. And things really started to take off from there. I remember Micah lived in that house with us, and I swear when I look back, that house must have been yellow. And it's so funny because I went back and the house is not yellow, you guys. Guess what the house color is when I went back there? Like a tannish color. I'm like, why would it be tan? And you know why I think it must have been yellow? Because the house that what am I saying? The house that I lived in with Micah, there was a house like almost an arm's reach. The house that I lived with Micah at, there was a house across the street, but down the way, and it faced east, and our house faced south. So we were here, and then there was like a house like way, like 1, 2, like 3 doors down, but the house wasn't facing north, so it wasn't facing us. So like our house faced south. My bedroom was, it was kind of like a twin bedroom. It was kind of like me and Caitlin would have like fit in it. And I think I'm comfortable saying that because Cara Delevingne is like, she's Cara Delevingne, she's Supergirl. So there's that. And things really started to take off. I really physically learned and was starting to ride my two-wheel bike, and everything was going really cool then. And then for some reason we had to stop renting that house, and we moved over to this blue house. And it's so funny how it's so blue, and I'm like, what does that significance mean for Jonathan? Like, and I remember now that I look at it, like, I'm basically Alina Jonas, and Kevin Jonas is Jonathan Dobby. And I'm like, he lived with us in that blue house. I don't remember what I think it was called like Ivy or something, or Avenue or something like that. Yeah, we met Lori Bullfinch and the Bullfinch family there, and I remember there's a lot of different things happening. Yeah, I remember I met Kimmy Roundy in the house with Micah. Yeah, I remember we moved to the house with Micah, and yeah, we moved to, when we first got up here, my mom moved us into an apartment. I can't quite remember what grade I was in, but I think it was just like kindergarten, and then from kindergarten I started going into what was I saying? From kindergarten I started going, what time is it? from kindergarten, I started going to, we were living in like the apartments, and then right as, trying to remember, I see, I still don't remember, I believe we moved into the 3-story house. In that house, there was some tumultuous stuff going on because my mom was still dealing with this Heidi Baker kind of husband. Like, if you watch Cheaper by the Dozens, you'll kind of understand what was going on. But I would say it was actually really a fun block. There was a lot going on, a lot of kid neighbors, a lot of fun kids. I actually kind of want to tell my mom, like, can we go back over there? Because I want to look at the house. So, and there was actually, you know, it was really fun. There was actually kind of some house spaces over there, and they were going to start building, and they were kind of being slow when we moved in about new building, and they were kind of being slow about moving it. Now, over there in that area, in that direction, there's actually some houses that are being built over there and stuff like that. So yeah, we moved from the apartment. We moved into the 3-story house, and I think, I won't say things really started to take off. It just kind of looked like the Lord had kicked it in gear, but it wasn't going like too fast. Like, and I can't quite remember if that was the first house from there, and then we started going this way, and we went that way, and then my mom's, we went that way, and that way. Oh my gosh, my mom has ran all over Canby and all over Oregon. Gabby went to the 3-story house, which honestly, I believe that was actually like my close second favorite house. Like, it almost is just my favorite house. Like, as far as the house goes, it was really exciting. Like, it was a 3-story house. Like, nobody just has like a random 3-story house in town. Like, it was just really interesting. Yeah, it was 3 stories. You would walk, when you first walk into the house from the front door, you see that there's the living room, and it was really interesting. There was a living room right here, and then there was a dining room right here, and then there was a kitchen right here, and then if you look, if you're at the front door, and then there was like a closet right here, and then there was the stairs next to the closet right here, and then there was another set of stairs that went downstairs, and that's where the television was. And it was just so cool. I almost wish Heavenly Father kind of wanted my mom to kind of keep that house until her kids were kind of out of school and out of the neighborhood and stuff. But my mom was just a horrible organizational person, and that's probably why my husband needs to be like Jeremy Guerrero. I'm trying to buy my mom a house, so I really hope he can do that, and I hope that I can help, and everything can run smoothly, because I know things need to happen that way. Yeah, so we moved into that house, and actually I'm like, wasn't I 8 years old, like 7, 8 years old? And then we moved in that house with Micah, and I remember that was like in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, something like that. And I was just learning how to potty train then. I think it was like 8 or 9. Not quite in 4th grade. I don't think so. Wow, it's still all foggy. But I do know what the house order is in. That yeah, it was apartments, then it was a 3-story house. There was a lot of happy moments because the house was like so extraordinary. And so, I wouldn't say weird, but it was just extraordinary. Like, I really feel like Heavenly Father wanted my mom to just buy the house. Like, you should have talked to them about buying the house and keeping it and stuff like that, because that's been mostly the story about all the houses. Is like they wanted to sell the house and stuff. So we moved to the 3-story house. And then the biggest move was moving to the southeast part of Canby. And we moved to the house with Micah. And that was really cool and really neat because I feel like he kind of made my experience of life a lot more fun and a lot more safe and comfortable, because I just feel like he's just like a very protective kind of biblical protected person, and I don't think that he would allow a lot of foolish things to happen with me. So he's also like my Peter Pevensey if you watch Narnia and stuff like that. That's why Hollywood releases these movies, because they're true and they have a point to them, because Micah protected me at the dinner table, and I've shown that picture on YouTube before. So I believe things really started to heavily and with a lot of light started to kick off for me and everybody there. I just remember I started making like a lot of friends, and I remember I made friends with like Kimmy Rowney down the road, and I just made friends with all the block. And I remember my blood brother at that time, he was still like a decent person, and he wasn't like a rude person, and he wasn't disrespectful, and we all just made really good friends with the whole block. And there was no sin, there was no like uninnocence. We were just really innocent people, and it was just super cool. I can't think of anything else to say about that. It was just a really neat experience. I really feel like maybe that house was the house that God really wanted my mom to stay in again. Like, it's like, why do you keep renting houses, Teresa? Like, you've got to settle down. And so but I will say, yeah, a lot of things for me, learning experiences, friend experiences, every just kind of beautiful experience really happens when we moved to that house. A lot of things for me started to kick off. I learned how to I physically not just learned, because I do believe I was ready. And I remember kind of forcing the idea on my mom that I remember forcing the idea on my mom that that I wanted to take my training wheels off, because I literally was like, it just, in my head I was just thinking like, it's just so petty to have them on. Like, I know how to drive, I know how to ride a two-wheeler, and it was like so fun for me, because I just remember loving like the feeling of the air like rushing past your body, and it was like just so amazing and all of this stuff. And so like things really started to kick off for me in that house. And then I believe after that, my mom just kind of noticed that Steve Talby really didn't want anything to do with the relationship, and he still was kind of amusing like alcohol and stuff like that, and they just weren't exactly listening. And the house with Micah also, I believe that this is the thing you have to understand. My mom reminds me a lot of Angel's mom also, like just personality wise, not the experience like I experienced. Like, I went from a super strict like household. Like, my dad was pretty strict. He was a correctional officer. That really just like rings any Maori type of bells, like super strict. There just was not a lot of things that I could do. So I will say I took advantage of my great-grandfather a lot. I think a lot of my cousins on my dad's side of the family would be very jealous of me also. Just a little bit of jealous, not as much jealous as the girls that live next to my grandpa, but I would just kind of take advantage of my grandpa, and not like bad taking advantage. He just would buy me like CDs. Like, I actually remember the first CD my grandpa got me was a Beyonce CD. I think I told the lady on the bus that my grandpa got me like a Jonas Brothers CD, and I was like, oh, I don't know. about that. And now that I think about it, I don't know if he got me that. I think my mom got it for me, and then I ended up bringing it down there or something. But I will say this: I actually found it when I was moving not too long ago, and it was just so funny from that. And I'm trying to remember. So from the house with Micah, and this was like super strict. Like we had never lived so southeast from. We have never lived so southeast from like in Canby, like this forever. And we moved in there, and then after that we moved into this more broken down, because now that I remember the house that Micah lived with us, the house was very well taken care of. Like it was very new looking. It wasn't old by any means. And then we ended up moving into the house with Johnathan, and I kind of feel like things started looking a little eerie, but then yeah, come on, God, remind me what the situation is. Trying to remember. We moved in the house with Johnathan and still Steve Talby. I chose my bedroom. It was a perfect spot in the house. It was like a perfect square shape, so I was super happy about that. And I also got to sleep next to some birds. So there were some birds in my room from Lori, and that's actually where we met Lori Bullfinch. And so like that house is kind of special to me in a way, but still not like too special, I guess. It was just, it's kind of special. It was honestly really old, really run down. Like I just remember looking at the doors in my mind, and I'm like, why were they so dark? Why was the house so dark? I'm like, the house that we lived with Micah at, it was not that dark. Which is also really funny because he's kind of got like that glow, like that yellow glow. Like they just glow like Michael the Archangel yellow glow. And so I got to get ready to go here pretty soon. But yeah, we moved to the house with Johnathan, and then I remember things really started to look kind of interesting and kind of weird. At this time, gosh, we must have lived in that blue house for quite some time, because I remember Steve Talby just was starting to be very disinterested in there. And honestly, now that I look at him in my mind, he was really, really, really creepy. Like, just like knowing about Steppenwolf and all that kinds of stuff, and just knowing about just a lot of the things that I understand about him. He just was not he just wasn't a nice person at all. I don't really think that he was meant for my mom at all. I think she just should have taken a friend's advice and moved up here or moved across. And my mom is my godmom actually showed me this video, this movie called Perfect Man, and she kind of just showed it to me because I think she felt as though like maybe my goddaughter needs to see it, just kind of understand what she might have to turn out like and stuff like that. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense because the love interest in that movie for the girl, he does look a lot like my husband now, just kind of like bug eyes a little bit, and kind of him and kind of somebody in this town, Jamie. And I'm just trying to remember the house in order. I just remember we grew up a lot in the house with Micah. Well, Micah and then Johnathan. And then interestingly enough, it was so funny how we ended up moving back to Ponderosa Street with the house with Micah, but it was like more north focused. Like it was still the same street, but it was just like down, like a couple houses down from it. So that was really interesting. We moved there, and things kind of started looking really ugly for my blood brother. Like, he just kind of started acting like really rude, and I believe I was like in 4th or 5th grade. Probably really, really late 4th grade, if not almost 5th grade. And I remember I lived in that house, and it was just really, really even more eerie. I mean, I really liked how, well, one, that Steve Tobby left, because he kind of creeped me out. And I remember wanting to, this is some creepy stuff. I remember I wanted to take a nap with my mom in the house that Jonathan had lived with us at, and he was just right there, and it just kind of bothered me, and I'm like, what is this problem? I just remember not liking him. He was just not an easygoing guy, and I really don't think my mom should have let him like just take advantage of her and like just do like a bunch of stuff. But we ended up moving out of that house, and I believe he made a firm decision after we moved out of that house that he wasn't going to come back. And actually, now that I remember it, my mom tried to say, and I think it was the first house that, I think we moved into an apartment when we first got up here, but it really honestly did not last longer than a year, because I honestly don't quite remember it. It just it just looked kind of boring to me. To be honest, it just was like not something that that I remember. I think that apartment lasts not very long. My mom moved us to territorial apartments, and those territorial apartments were a lot more friendly and a lot more calmer and stuff like that. And that was like the beginning of being here. So fast forward to the house with Jonathan, and I remember Micah and Jonathan were over, and I think Micah probably had decided to live with his mom at this time, and so that was nice and stuff. And she was really nice to us and to me and stuff. And I remember being in the dining room of the house with Jonathan, and we were just moving in. Like, everything was moving in. We were just moving in, and Micah and Jonathan were like standing apart from each other. And I remember that I liked doing this one thing where, like, I would stand like on his toes, like Micah's toes or something, and oh my god, this is so funny. I like standing on Jonathan or Micah's toes, and I remember I stood on his toes, and I don't know if it was when I was standing on his toes or when I was just like right in front of him, but I remember when I was standing on Micah's toes, and I was facing forward just like he was facing forward, and I ended up kicking Jonathan in the package, in the nuts. And that was like so funny. And now I look back, I'm like, why did you do that? I was like, I don't know. Just watching things happen growing up, and that's why. Now I look back, I'm like, I'm so sorry. But I do remember what was really funny was living there and being there was just really interesting. And I remember around that same time, my mom used to like, what would she do? She would just kind of like tickle me, and like, I just kind of liked being tickled as a kid. You know, I think any like child just likes to be like tickled or something. And she would kind of like tickle me. And now when I look at the videos of Alina Jonas being tickled by Jonathan or by Kevin Jonas, I associate that with Jonathan Talby. So I think that was funny. And I do remember not really having much of a relationship with Jonathan in that house. I think he was just really focused on being an adult and getting quickly to his adulthood stuff. And I remember he started to fall really deeply in love with cooking and loving to cook. And he would cook all these fancy like foods and all this stuff. And yeah, he just really started to fall in love with um, cooking. And I remember one of the first things he made was like a scalloped potatoes, like potato casserole. It was really, really yummy, and it tastes really good. And can you make that again for me? Since I'm like your first daughter, like your Elena Jonas, can you just like do that, please? And I've actually seen pictures of Kevin Jonas when he's made when he had Elena Jonas when she was a baby. I've seen pictures of him like holding Alina, and he looks like he's like Jonathan Talby. Like, I've shared their photos on my YouTube channel before, and I can do my best to leave that down below if I have to, if you need me to. But yeah, I feel like I probably am Jonathan Talby's Elena Jonas. So, you know, I would like the credit for that. If you could just find this video, thank you very much. So yeah. So yeah. So I remember we moved to that house, and I feel like honestly we were in that house like probably the longest, because there was just a lot of fun things that happened at that house, just like the other house before, except my favorite brother Micah wasn't living with us. And I do remember Jonathan came to live with us, and he wasn't exactly living in the house. He was he was living like what do I want to say, like not in the house with us, but he was living in like a little trailer next to our house. That was kind of interesting for a while, but he was pretty nice. And I remember he was getting his life together and learning that he liked to cook. And so, and I've heard as of late that he is like a cook over in Rhode Island or something like that. And so I was like, you just abandoning me to be Elena Jonas over here with no father. But I will say, that reminds me of my birth father as well, and like my godfather, and especially the wife. She reminds me of like Martha Barone a little bit. And I've never really met Micah's wife, or Micah's wife. Yeah, I've met your wife, Tiffany Trump. And I've never really met Jonathan's wife. So hopefully she's like, you know, hopefully she's like Miss Jonas, Kevin Jonas' wife. I forget her name. Oh, Danielle. And stuff like that. And yeah, I can't remember what else I need to shed on there. I think my mom, things started to fade off for my mom and Steve's relationship, and I think he ended up by the time we were ready to move out of the house. And I will say, we had like a lot of garage sales. It was actually really fun. We had this really weird freeze happen, and I remember my blood brother at the time, the same blood that we share, he like was using like a hammer, like one of those old school, like with the wood, and then no, bad thought, That's wrong imagination. Hey, I remember he had a hammer. This is so funny. He had a hammer, and he was like literally taking the hammer, like the back of the hammer, and he was like taking it and like putting it in the in like the ice that was on the cement, and he was putting it in the ground, and then he was pulling up, and he was putting it in the ground, pulling up. And that actually really cracks me up, because I think Micah is I think he's what's it called? The guy that collects ice in Frozen. I believe that's him. And wow, this place is really bustling. I better get going. But yeah, that's basically what happened. My mom and Steve's relationship started to fade out once we were starting to just get tired of that place and not want to live there anymore. But I do remember the first time that we met Lori Bulfinch, and I remember, I think it was like just Joshua and Lindsay had come to our door, and they were trying to sell like some like thing from something. And I remember Lori had fallen in love with Grandview Baptist Church way before we had met her, and like all this stuff happened. It was like so interesting. They had come to our door trying to sell stuff. You know how you like sell stuff just to make like the school like have more money and have funds and stuff go into the school, and it was like a fundraiser. And I opened the door and I was like, oh, okay, what do you need? And they were like, oh, you can go get your mom, and you know, like how you know, like the etiquette. And I really would like my niece and nephew and my future kids to know that, like, because I was told, you know, really, really young when we lived in the house where my dad lives now. And my mom used to do this really smart thing with us. Like, right before we moved up here, we moved into a really cute townhouse. And we moved into a really cute townhouse in, what was it? I'm trying to think. Gosh darn it. Moved into a really cute townhouse in Blythe. It was really darling, and I do remember that time. It was just really interesting, the stuff like that. And my mom at that very time was trying to teach us. She was trying to teach us about safety and like God safety and like what you do like in a situation and stuff like that. And man, I don't really remember that house too much. I don't even really remember there being much of a dining room and stuff like that. And it was just really interesting how my mom still stayed right there, because I was in between my grandparents' house and the house that my dad has now, and stuff like that. It's just really interesting. And so right after the house with Jonathan and Micah, I think we ended up moving back to Ponderosa. And I almost wonder if God was like telling my mom, like, you probably should have a better relationship with Micah, because I believe at this time, like right at the beginning of then, I remember I was just finishing 4th grade. And I believe when I lived in the house with Jonathan and my mom's ex, Micah Talby's dad, Steppenwolf, not a very fun sight. It's kind of creepy, but what am I trying to say? We moved from there, and then I feel like things were sort of starting to take off. I don't really know what else I needed to say, but I do remember we moved into it was called 541 Ponderosa Street. And it was actually a really interesting house. And I honestly, now that I look back, I'm like, I bet you my mom could have totally bought that house. And like, could have met Dawn, and we could have bought in the house and like done stuff. I'm trying to remember, in the house with Jonathan and Steve Talby, my mom had me in Miss Owen's class at that time, I think. It was just like it was a 3rd grade-ish kind of class. And I felt really bad because we kind of kept being late and stuff to school. So, yeah, I like Micah better than anybody else. So, yeah, trying to think. We ended up moving to 541 Ponderosa Street, and that's when, it's just really interesting the things that were starting to happen, because I just remember my blood brother, I think he had started going to kind of like Ackerman in middle school at that time. It was kind of a scary experience, because he just started acting out. And I remember we were at the 541 house, and my mom just kind of was letting him like abuse girls and abuse girlfriends, and it just was not looking pretty. And so we were living in Ponderosa for a little while, and then I really feel like my mom should have really purchased the house on Ponderosa Street. Like, it just, I really feel strongly about that because I've never felt like God really wanted us to be there in like ever. And honestly, I felt that same feeling at the house. And I remember I had like a block, not a block party, but like a birthday party. And like everybody was like, where? And I just remember thinking like, oh yeah, this is fun and stuff. But like, you know, where are my friends and all this stuff? Like, it just kind of, you know, I feel like God probably wanted my mom to either buy the house, the 3-story house, really interesting. It was just super interesting because like the living room situation, it was like super big and open. And I just remember there being this really big, great, big, beautiful window and just like, there was a big, beautiful like fireplace and it was just really, really nice. Like it was just something that I feel like my mom should have kept because, it really could have just been something that could have really taken off of her. And so, I don't know. But the house with Micah even more so started to seem totally useful. And also, I don't just say that for anything because I know Tripp is definitely somebody in my mom's family. And the house that was just being built next to where Micah was living with us at. I'm getting ready to pack up and go, but yeah, we ended up moving to I gotta go to the bathroom. I will be right back. Nah, fam. So, where was I? I had to go to the bathroom. So glad God was watching everything. But at this time, yeah, Steve had started not to want to be with my mom in the house where we met Lori Bolvinge, and then we ended up moving back to Ponderosa Street, the 541 house, and I don't remember much from there. I do remember like conversations, and it just it was kind of boring and eerie. It didn't feel like it used to, and I had a hard time making the same friends because honestly I just lived like 7 houses down from the other house. It was just more kind of north and behind the other house. It wasn't too far down from the house with Micah. And then after that, I was like in 4th or 5th grade. I think I had just slipped into 5th grade, and then we ended up moving into a different house when I was almost like December. So like I just had gotten my room, and my mom was still doing court hearings about custody battles and who gets to go with who and like all of this stuff. And it was just really annoying. I'm like, why couldn't they just drop everything to be peaceful, you know? And so I remember my mom just deciding to move over to I think it took my mom a lot of strength, but like Steve Talby just it was really interesting because he met a woman, and then this woman ended up taking him to Rhode Island, and I gotta get going, but yeah, it was just really interesting. And after Ponderosa, we moved to this really interesting house next to over there, just right down this way from the post office. And like I think things started to feel very unspecial because my mom started to be okay with Morrison, and it just consistently looked like she just was not following protocol. Like we were just moving all over. I really felt like God was trying to speak to my mom and tell her, you need to slow down. You need to stop renting houses. You need to choose to buy one of these houses and just let it be graceful and let me intercede. Like, let me be the husband. Like, why can you let me be the husband? And it just started to look like that. And I feel like she needed to choose either that really beautiful 3-story house or the really beautiful 4-bedroom house with like the twin bedroom that I ended up in. And it was just also really weird because I kind of had to share a room with Steve Talby's like office. That part was really weird. That part was really weird. And I think that was like the biggest house that we ended up living in. Because it had Micah had his own room, Isaac had his own room, and Antonia had her own room. And I mean, I kind of did. It was. I remember there was already a divider, kind of dividing things up. My mom had really gratefully, the school had kind of like given her that, like she was allowed to have that divider in the room, and so that was like the biggest house that I think about thus far. Like, and now the house that I'm living in now is ridiculous. Like, I just go there every day and I'm like, why am I here? And so from the house on by the post office, that was like one of the, in a handful, like one of the biggest houses, because, and it was funny that we had that house because I think sometime a little bit after or around the same time, my cousin Melanie, had gotten a house just like that. And it was so interesting because in that house that we shared, like with them, and I just remember my mom's, like my blood brother, he just started to get really, really heavily into evil, and like I remember he stabbed the Bible at the time, and that was like worst thing ever. Like, it just made me want to like flee. Like, where do I go for God's safety? And I'm like, why is he stabbing a Bible? Like, that's just so evil, and you just don't do that. And so I just really didn't understand why he did that, and it was just a lot. I remember there was about four rooms, and the house with Micah, there was Micah, Isaac, myself, and my mom's room was downstairs. Interesting enough, right? This house is so interesting. Like, now that I think about it in my mind, like you know how like garages and front doors are always together? This house, it had its garage facing this way out here, and then the front door was facing like this. Like, the front door and the front of the house was facing south, but the garage door and like the garage itself was facing west. So it was really interesting, but I really feel like Micah was really happy for me at that time, and I just really hope that he finds me out sometime, because it really has not been easy. And when I say it hasn't been easy, I mean, like, I don't have mental health issues, and God, and I don't really like to talk about mental health either. Like, I just think people just keep wanting to bring up the devil just because, like, sickness belongs to him, and they don't understand how to decipher him versus themselves. It's just a really interesting time, but and it was so interesting now that I look at it, because the house that I shared with Micah, I'm trying to think. The house that I shared with Micah, I had to kind of be in like this twin room, and it was just so interesting because now that I think about it, I'm like, should we have like purchased that house, and then me and Caitlin would have ended up moving in together then, and going to our last year of high school and walking the red carpet, so to speak, or like walking, like, out of the school and stuff like that. And so it was just really, really interesting. And now we moved into this very interesting 3-story house, and now that I look at it, I swear it was just as quirky as the house in Monster-in-Law, and I have to get going, but yeah, I have to get going, but like this house over there, it was super interesting because it's just the door was like, the door was like over here, and then the front living room windows were like right here. It was just so interesting. And now my mom's really good, like still like today, like my mom's really good friend lives like I think it's like 5 or 7 houses down from the 561 Southeast 6th Place house, and that's where I don't know. I just feel like I was really happy, and 2014 was like, I will say 2014 was like the greatest year of my life. I felt great. I felt like that weight of high school, that weight of family, that weight of all evil in my life was really starting to come off of me, and I felt like, you know what, God, like I can handle this. We can go meet the drums. We can do all the things that I feel like you want me to do, and I really felt like God was like on my side, and everything started feeling really, really good. But and I don't know what else to say about that. Just everything just started to feel really, really good, and then I started to just kind of be disinterested about life because nobody was really talking to me about my future, and nobody was really like, hey, you know, what is God telling you about your future? Like, nobody really was asking me these questions, and I feel like I should have probably connected with Grace Travel better, just so we can like be on the same page as far as what God's doing. And nobody really bothered to ever ask me what God was doing, and so I actually do have some videos of the 561 Southeast 6th Place house in this in my arsenal, and I think a lot of you people, and I remember Pretty and Flawed, she saw me and she caught me at Nana's and Mine. That was like my first YouTube channel because I always had this like thing in the 561 house, like I wanted to do like a food channel, because my grandpa years prior just kind of taught me how to do food, and he taught me how to like do that and like how that looks, and like he was just really teaching me like how to cook, and he really was trusting me with a lot of the rules and how you cook and stuff like that. Yeah, and so we went from the 561 house, and like I said, 2016 was the worst year of my life. It was the worst year because I felt like I had no reason to live. I was like, where is my husband? All these other people around me are getting like boyfriends, and then those boyfriends are becoming husbands, and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe that situation's not right. And I remember starting to question the people around me, and like, oh my God, like maybe Lindsay Bovich doesn't need to be with this random guy. Like I do believe Lindsay Bovich is supposed to be Mrs. Blake Lively, and her initial, Blake Lively's initials and Lindsay's initials are literally the same. I mean, BL is Blake Lively, LB is Lindsay Bovich. It was ridiculous. Like, things were starting to look like people were making the wrong decisions, and I know my mom kept bringing like tumultuousness into the I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. Like, my mom kept saying like my dad was such a bad person, and I remember I had to go to California in the 541 Ponderosa Street house, and it actually wasn't a sad time for me. I actually think it was a really good experience, because I think I started to learn that my dad wasn't a bad person, and that anybody can be like God, and we don't have to tear people down just because them being like God just goes so like bad, and like I'll put you guys at a different angle because I'm about to shut off my phone and things and get going home. But mostly just because the bus picks up about now. And yeah, things started to look really dark, and I hope that Micah knows this because me and Micah probably before 2016, maybe even when I got out of high school, and maybe even in high school, and I will say high school was pretty fun, but there was a lot of dark arguing. And when I say tumultuous a lot of the time, I really honestly, when I say tumultuous, I mean like chaos in light. And that was my dad's house, and that was the house of Micah. There was just a lot of light. I really don't remember it looking that dark for me. It just was looking, yeah. But towards the end of, towards the end of 2016, my mom again made us move. She made Carrie and Steven not move in with us right away. She made them move away, and she wanted her own house and her own life, I guess. And it was just we were renting a house, so we've rented a house since we came up here. So I don't think God really wants her to be renting houses anymore. I think God really wants her to set her sails by Him. Set your sails and let God blow through them. And that's something that Kevin Zadai on Silver Supernatural has made up. And all this talk about my birth father being a bad person, I would really like that to stop, because I don't think that it was my mom or my dad that was being a bad person. I think a lot of the things and that of recent that Steve Tolby just, he just has had been kind of like annoying and just kind of hard to deal with. And they lived together a lot in the house with Jonathan, and where we met Lindsay Bolfin, or the Bolfinge family, Lori Bolfinge. And also Lori reminds me a lot of my Aunt Dara. And I don't know if I have pictures of my Aunt Dara, but I do have a picture of her in my mind. And they both look pretty similar. And I think Lori's, she's really reformed her life, and she's been different now. But, oh, great. No. Okay, gotta go. I'll talk more about it in another video. See you, bye.